As promised, a treat this morning. We have a special guest in studio, and also we'll be giving away tickets to a wonderful event. Here to tell us all about it, we're excited to meet the new CEO of the South Shore YMCA. His name is Trevor Williams. Trevor, good morning.
Thanks, Rob. Appreciate being here, and such an honor to be here.
Well, it's great to have you in here at Broadcast House, and I know you recently took over as president and CEO right at the beginning of the year, right?
That's correct. That's correct.
Change of leadership, but this is not you're not a stranger to the Y, though, right?
No, this is just the culmination of a journey of a career. I've been with the South Shore YMCA for 6 years as the chief operating officer, and then last year as the president, and then officially president and CEO this past January 1st. The board put a lot of time and energy into making a very smooth transition plan between my former president and CEO, Paul Gorman, and the great work he did to myself in the future that we're going to do together.
Yeah, as you said, the South Shore YMCA has a great foundation, and it is in a great position for the future, right?
Yeah, no, we've never been in a stronger position. I couldn't be luckier taking over a very, very healthy organization with fantastic volunteers and a lot of passion, great talent in the staff. So the future looks really bright, and it's mine to hopefully just steer in the right direction.
Well, I know we're going to talk about, and we'll give a little bit of a tease here. We're going to give away a pair of tickets at the end of the segment for the Taste of the South Shore. This is one of the signature events that's coming up in May. I'll hold a little flyer here for the YouTube viewers, but it's going to be great. Well, so stick around. We're going to get to that because I know so many of you are excited. It's become a great tradition, but I thought maybe we kind of talk about some of the other great programs and things that you kind of like this morning, Trevor, to kind of touch upon maybe some things that you're passionate about yourself or things you'd like to see grow.
Yeah, no, the 2026 sits us at the very beginning of a brand new strategic plan at the South Shore YMCA. So the board worked very hard last year on creating a new 3-year strategic plan, which gives the staff and I a nice roadmap as to the direction and focus that we'll have. And we established that strategic plan by collecting all the community needs assessments from our community partners, such as the hospitals and the towns and the cities. And so we based our support for those needs on those reports. And so collectively working with our cities and our towns and our communities, I think we're going to be a great asset in the future, as we have been for the past 134 years, supporting the community in all kinds of different ways.
Well, as you were mentioning, and people may, some people are familiar with the South Shore YMCA, others not as much, and they may not understand that there are many different programs and locations as well. Because you were talking about it, it might be bigger than you know. Yeah,
the South Shore YMCA is very well known for its 2 large YMCA branches. This is the places where you'd have pools and basketball courts and treadmills, and that's traditionally what people think about when they think of a YMCA. But we have 12, total locations that we operate. Plus, we're in a bunch of the schools and so on, so that number would go much further north of that if you included those. But everything from the Nature Center in Norwell to the Early Learning Center in Hanover to the Laura Center for the Arts in Hanover, the Germantown Neighborhood Center in Quincy. These are all very important community needs and program centers, but they're not necessarily that traditional thing that people think about when they're thinking about the Y. And then the Hale Family YMCA and the Emerson YMCA, those are the big branches where you'd come and exercise and do programs and swim and so on.
Speaking of the Hale, as you were talking about, they said there was a huge expansion at the Hale Family Y that opened up, right?
Just completed it. As a matter of fact, timing couldn't have been more interesting. We completed it just in the very beginning of January. So that encompasses 20,000 new square feet of program space. 9,000 of that we dedicated to a new gymnastics center, which is really important because in the city of Quincy there is not a gymnastics center, and so we really wanted to bring that program to the community and give access to that program.
That's great.
Remember, all of our programs come with the opportunity for financial assistance, so this is open for everybody. You do not have to have great means to participate in any of our Y programs, so really excited about that. We also put in a brand new large-scale group exercise studio, which is vastly needed. We have so much excitement and energy around group exercise classes, but the studios that we built in the original portion of that building 14, 13 years ago are now a little bit too tight, so we've had to build a bigger one.
Wow, it's great. You know, it's good to, first of all,
Good
you know,
success
that
problems.
Yeah, I know it's good to have, but there is a demand, and then you also said that filling a void, and that's amazing for the city of Quincy to be able to have this competitive gymnastics center in Quincy. I didn't realize that there wasn't one.
Well, we have a very successful program in Hanover, and so what we'll do is we'll operate one South Shore YMCA gymnastics team, and now our community can just decide where it's most convenient for them to practice.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we'll attract a whole group of new people who didn't have access to either drive to Hanover or to get to Hanover. So we're hoping to really expose the city of Quincy to gymnastics and all that it has to offer for youth.
Spring program session kicks off this month, and you can sign up for a lot of sports, including, of course, the very important issue when it comes to swim lessons and that ability. That's important. So many people need that.
The spring is the time. If you want to get your kids into spring swim lessons, it's the time, because as we know, before we blink, it'll be summertime. There'll be access to pools, and down here, of course, the ocean, and so you want to make sure your kids are swim safe. And so that's the YMCA is the world's, or I should say, the nation's largest swim instructor. We want to make sure, and that's part of our mission, to make sure every kid knows how to swim.
ssymca.org, and we'll tell you more about that. So now let's get to the this big event that we're excited for. Of course, this is a tradition, the Taste of the South Shore, Trevor.
29th year, Rob.
29? Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. This thing has taken different shape every year. This year, our whole theme about it is to support kids in their growth, so help kids grow. Obviously, we mean that in spirit, mind, and body, but the way I would describe it to people, if they said, well, what does that mean? Well, we have so many youth-serving programs, whether that is early learning, whether that's the gymnastics we talked about, whether that's preschool, any of those things that youth can participate in. These funds we'll raise at this event will go towards supporting all those. We make a huge investment in commitment to our youth and our families. So the Taste of the South Shore is just a big bash celebration party that we roll into a big fundraiser. I think people come have a great time. It's a real upscale event, 21 plus. There'll be 30 different food and drink vendors there, and they're going to compete to win the Taste of the South Shore honor in 2026. And so they're going to bring their A-game dishes, and you as the participant get to sample all those dishes and take part in that experience. And so I always tell people, bring your appetite and come ready to have a really great time. It's just one of the best parties on the South Shore every year.
Oh, boy. Well, ssymca.org, and I think before April 15th, it says you can get the early bird tickets, so you still have time if you're listening this morning.
That's
I think
right.
the tickets are $150. It's a 21-plus event, business cocktail attire, dress code. It is a lot of fun, and as you said, it's become a tradition. So many people love going every year. If you haven't been before, I think you're going to really enjoy it. And then the thing that makes it so special is everyone's coming together. Is people are so happy because it raises money to give kids that experience to go to camp.
That's the thing. We don't want to lose sight of the fact that the YMCA is a charitable nonprofit organization. We raise funds to help support the community in all the ways we do. And so this is just one of our signature events, and we take a great deal of pride in making it a lot of fun and exciting, but it also, going back to its core, it is intended to raise funds, and we'll just give those funds right back to the community. And in this particular year, we're focusing on all of our youth programs for it.
Excellent. It's been fun to have. Again, we have the new president and CEO of the South Shore YMCA, took over in the beginning of the year in 2026, and Trevor Williams is now in place. Of course, a long career at the South Shore YMCA.